Hey, welcome back or welcome if you're new. Today we're going to do something different. It's the end of 2024, so I thought let us get our best pieces of advice, the best moments, the things that hit the most, and tell me what you think at the end. If you like it, like the video and subscribe if you're new. I look forward to seeing you in 2025.
What would you tell yourself is about ultimately guiding you upon what you should do next. Think about it. If this is so profound, if this is so truthful to who you are and what you believe in the situation, isn't it what you should carry out throughout your journey? For example, if you were to say, I wish I could tell myself to be more confident and be courageous in gaining what I want, that belief and that action is what you'll carry throughout your next steps.
You know it's not your whole life you need to sort out, it's just one aspect.
You either decide subconsciously, meaning it's a premeditated thought, feeling, action from a past experience, from a past event that's already within instilled yourself, or consciously, meaning you're in the moment and present of what you're actually doing, saying, or how you're behaving, in relation to what you hold, in relation to what you feel is necessary for your life. Certain friends, certain environment, being away from home, staying comfortable.
Two brothers were brought up with an alcoholic father. Being abused mentally, physically, emotionally and spiritually, they both went through equal turmoil. But as adulthood arose, both brothers gained independence to begin their own life, leaving their home and leaving their alcoholic father. A couple years go by and one of the brothers has a job, a house, a long-term partner who is looking to engage and eventually marry and also have kids. When asked why and how, he replied, "Because I have an alcoholic father." On the other hand, the other brother became an alcoholic, homeless, and struggles to make any ends meet. When asked how and why, he said, "Because I have an alcoholic father." So what is a habit? A habit is essentially a performed act that doesn't require much thinking, doesn't require much attention, but automatically happens. What feeling, what emotion to certain people, certain places, and to certain things do you hold? Do you carry? And do you think about? Because overall, they make your life.
Growth is a part of life. Change is a part of life. I was once told by one of my mentors that change is the only continuum. Nothing ever stays the same. The world is constantly turning. You are constantly growing, shedding skin. So change is the only continuum. And with change being the only continuum, why wouldn't you want to change your circumstance?
You are a particular human being that decided to achieve a goal, to make something happen, and you're working towards that. It's tough. It's not easy. But you took responsibility, you used your own willpower, and you've taken your own action and initiative to go there. You making that decision, to me, sounds like you already know that that's not it. You know what the end goal is, you know what it looks like, you know what it feels like, you've internalized it, you've imagined it, and you've placed yourself in that position multiple times. So to say you've truly done it all, is that really it? Is that really all you have? Is that where you're going to leave it? I don't think so. So let's continue.
Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. First thing that comes to me is act transformed in a new way by the renewing from the difference of the past, or from the differences of your mind, of what's going inside your mind, the thoughts, the thinking, the habit.
But to positively adjust your mind and your mindset and attitude, it needs assurance in what you're doing, in where you're going. Essentially stating that I have achieved X, I have in my possession X, I live at X, I am X, and so on and so forth. Removing the idea of then when I get it, I will be this place. When I reach this goal, or everything will be okay. Completely eradicating that ideology and moving towards today, I can place myself in that position. Because ultimately what you tolerate is what you take. Like a pain threshold, you can only take so much pain before you have to step away. You can only push so hard before you have to step back. What is it you tolerate? Signs of feeling self-conscious. But what does that exactly mean? Essentially, it's to be aware of oneself on the extreme ends of awareness. Instead of your mind indicating to you how you behave, or what you said for example, it raises warning signs time and time again to the minute details of your behavior. Because it's either this, you either are looking for the tools to use, you are looking for how to use the tools, or you just need to use the tools you have. Therefore, in terms of mental health, or when somebody talks about or refers to mental well-being, mental health, mental state, it's a relation between what the mind offers and its state, its well-being, its health.
Our mind is used to the past. It's used to what we used to do, how we used to think, how things used to be. So it takes some time, it takes some working, some molding for it to adjust to this new way of being, this new way of thinking, and this new belief. So that's why I'm saying to you, you're doing better than you think.
One conversation I have with my clients is on the following concept I created. We are given names when we're growing up, from our parents, from our friends, our workmates, all in the name of identifying us. Oh, this person's like this, or they usually do this, or they are the type to do this. But as we grow up, we never take time to decide whether we accept them or deny them. Are we this person or are we another type of person? That then leads into instilling those behaviors that have been set upon us and resulting in saying, that's just who I am. So with that basis, how do you talk to you?
It's an addition of days that ultimately produce a result.
If you were to watch this video in 10 years' time, what would change? I love asking my clients this question because it paints me a picture of specific details of how they are, where they're living, what job they have, how much income, what they're doing, what they're not doing, who they spend time with, where they go, and so much more. So I ask you that question and jot it down so you remember yourself, and we'll talk again in 10 years or even sooner.
What would you do if you had no fear? What actions would you take? Where would you go? Who would you speak to? How would you speak? How would you dress? How would you walk? How would you behave? Of course, in reason with the law and reason with being a good citizen. But what would you do if you had no fear? Maybe that's the next step you need to be taking and questioning to be asking yourself, just to push yourself that little bit further. One of my mentors told me that your fears mask your desires.
Beginning with, the chosen ones are the ones who wrestle with God. When I first heard this, I was quite intrigued that the ones who enable themselves to go on a path to reach a goal are the ones who wrestle with God. Are the ones that go through the most triumph, are the ones that deal with it all in terms of hardship, in terms of adaptability, flexibility, absorption of knowledge, of sometimes failing about getting up. If you look at God being omniscient, omnipresent, and omnibenevolent, He's everywhere at all times, all-knowing and all-loving. So you wrestle with everything there is to be and ever was. But in that wrestle, you are the one who gets stronger, who gets better, and who eventually reaches your goal. So it really shapes who you are, doesn't it? It really makes up everything you've done and are doing. When you realize that I'm a creature of habits, I'm a creature of influence, I'm a creature of emotion, of my own will, of imposed thought. If this is the case, if this is what Jerry's saying is a part of who I am, is I related to it a little bit. What about that in my life? Can I use, can I reflect upon, can I change to better who I am, to improve my situation, my environment, my circumstance? Because by changing my habits, I can change my self-perception. I can change the decisions I make. I can do things that maybe aren't just habitual, but are now a part of what I want to be achieving in the end. I can reach goals, I can take action, and not feel as if I'm stuck, not feel as if I'm lost, not feel as if things are just continually happening without any progress. I can see myself change for the better. Not for the world, but for my world. With the motivation that you feel, that you've had, that has been let go, what are you going to do with it now? You know, motivation doesn't go anywhere. As you've said, it is the ignition, but it gets carried out through our intrinsic feelings and our core values and morals of who we are to create tasks that align with how we think, with how we like to work, and then we just jot down ways we think we can do that and we take action on that. It just requires time. It just requires patience and requires you to be open to it as well. So what are you going to do with your motivation? Where are you going to place it? So are you going to let the world run it and flood it within your mind? Or are you going to build it within yourself? Are you going to look at what power, at what strength, at what ability do you have within yourself to achieve something? And can I do anything with that? Ask yourself that question deeply inside. What determines whether you've understood something? Is it the ability to recollect it multiple times? Is it the ability to explain to somebody else? Or is it by you seeing how it can be utilized within your life? Because now we're leaning to, you've looked at yourself, you've uncovered the layers within that, and now it's about understanding what does that mean for you. The weight you carry on your shoulders weighs the same as you.
Action needs to be put in, and an outcome is derived from that. How many actions are required to derive that outcome you desire?
Yes, you've had a past. Yes, you've got a future. But today, what imposed thoughts, beliefs, and values have been placed upon you that's deterring you? That's creating burden, stress, and weight on your shoulders every single day. The expectations you're meant to live up to, the places you're meant to reach, where they placed there by you. When you open up to you, you're able to understand, see, or even realize the overcompensation of self-conscious, overcompensating for who you are, who you're meant to be, what you're meant to be doing. We expect that outcome and not what it takes. We expect the thing, the end goal, the end product, the end of the journey, and not the journey within it. Not the waking up on time, not the eating right, not the putting in the reps, not the studying that was required to learn the said thing, not the talking to the right people and not being in the right place at the right time. Now, why are you struggling though? Because that's the reason you're struggling.
I really wonder, if you were to take time for yourself, if you were to analyze yourself, and I advocate this nearly in every single video because of its power, because You understand that? That's why I click on these videos to watch them. What would happen if you looked at yourself from a place to gain? If you looked at yourself from a place that this actually was a stepping stone, not a rock falling on my head.
How? When you ask yourself, how do I lose 25 kg by the 31st of December 2024? Yourself comes up with answers. So, how? Ask yourself. Who would have thought? Asking yourself the simple question is the answer to the question. So you ask yourself the question. Every thought and every feeling feels as if it's the correct thing. So you're open and receptive. How do I lose 25 kg by the 31st of December? Gym. Just that word comes to me. So write it down. Gym. Now what about that gym can help me lose weight? Well, I know if you go to the gym and you exercise, you lose weight. Okay. So if we go to the gym, we should exercise. Now what exercise? What's exercise? I know exercise is a period of time when you're either lifting weights, you're going for a run. Okay, so let's write it down. I got weights. There's weights, then I can run. But it doesn't stop at that. This is the beautiful thing. Weights and running. It's a brilliant pace. I need to lift weights, I think. And I need to run, I think. Then you go to the gym. You try it out. I tried the weightlifting. I tried the running. Nothing seems to be working out. Then you get help. Personal trainers there. You get help from someone there who looks like they're in a similar situation, maybe by weight or maybe by fitness level. Through that journey, then you understand what it takes, how to lose the 25 kg by the end of the year. You see, you've made it specific. You've made it measurable. You've made it achievable, and there's a time frame around it, aka a SMART goal.